outcome. Like Hakim said, it didn't happen as fast as some people
Yeah.
might have predicted, but it happened nonetheless. So congrats to Golden State. Looking forward to seeing that Western Conference Finals for sure. We'll we'll have to see who will get into that finals because
Yeah, that's
it
been very
looking
interesting.
like some edgy
Okay.
times
Yeah, it
for
could be
Phoenix
anybody.
Suns. Ma- Magic's not Magic's. What I'm talking
Mavericks,
about?
Mavericks, Mavericks.
Mavericks, right?
Yeah.
Mavericks could easily with Luca. Mavericks could easily like squeeze in to the conference finals. So um, definitely interested to see who will come out on top between those two. But I want to skip to the East and we can talk about Heat and 76ers. Another game that went for six games. We thought it was going to be earlier that one as well, but Joel came back. We were talking about that injury and how fast he would have come back and how he would have impacted the series.
The
And
NBA, the NBA
you know,
medical staff on
yeah,
superb time,
yeah. So
working
he
miracles.
he actually did come back and made a difference for a short period of time that he was able to, and then it was good night for 76. So you want to talk about that, Rayvon, a little bit?
Um, Truthfully, I didn't think, given the injury to Embiid, I didn't think they had a chance. I thought they would have got swept, truthfully, but Embiid miraculously came back, as y'all said. I don't know which doctors it is that he had that bring him
Great
back so
doctors.
quick. I don't know what it was, but he somehow come back and played and gave them a chance. They won a. It was they won 2 games. I can't
They
really
won two
remember.
games. Yeah, they won
Yeah, they
two
won
games.
two
Yeah, they won
games.
two
And
games.
there was actually a game
Made it
that
2-2. Made
yeah,
it 2-2.
because James Harden actually showed up in one of the games. None of the other ones, but I just didn't think that series. e- Truthfully, even with Embiid being fully healthy, it probably would have been close against, but I would have still picked the Heat to win either way because I know that Harden. I just the way that he's been playing. I didn't think that he was going to show up. So
Harden is one of the greatest magicians of all time.
you mean the good
Like
disappearing
he
act?
dis he disappearing act. He disappearing act.
Boy,
1 minute he's here, 1 minute he's gone.
but it is the Heat just have a better team, better equipped to face that specific team. Given the downplay of Harden, Harden was essentially the wild card in this series, and
Yeah.
he performed the way that I expected him. Sucky. So with that being the case, the result would have always been the Heat if he played the way that I expected, and so said, so happened. So I didn't expect anything different.
Did you? I know we didn't expect Harden to be like regular season Harden, but there was one game in particular that stood out to me. I think he had 11 points in the first half, and he took it was I think it was a losing game actually, like the elimination game, and then he took two shots in the entire second half.
Yeah,
I was 0 for 2, 0 for 2. Like that's unbelievable. Like I don't know what
not for
Harden. I
Harden.
don't 0 for 2, 2 shots in second half. I mean, it's
Yes.
Well,
bad.
not
Sometimes it
not for the
disappears, but
Harding that we've seen,
that was
but
ridiculous. That was like I couldn't believe it was that bad. I don't know
yeah,
what happens really. If it's a mental thing, it has to be mental. Like I don't know what gets into
or
him, but
he could just be out of shape in terms of like, because don't forget, like this was Harding from the beginning of the season at Nets.
he was a little better than this. He was a little better. But even when Harden came to the first, I think he played the first game of Joel and 76ers. He dropped 30 points. I think it was either a 20 point triple double or a 30 point, but he was effective so much so that Joel was saying, "I've never been this free before in my life," and he was elated. So I don't know what happens to Harden, but I can't put the blame. Yeah, I'm actually gonna put the blame on Harden. Yeah, Joel played as well as he can with a man for his injuries, his
Yeah,
back, his skull. I think his thumb was fractured as well too.
yeah, that's a
He had a
baller
lot.
move.
Yeah, he got them in. He got them back into the series. He
Yeah.
made the series a bit more exciting. To the
Mm.
point people were starting to think, can 36ers actually upset the Heat?
I never
So,
crossed my mind.
some people were thinking that like he made it to all. I was looking dominant, even at the series, and it wasn't like just a slim margin. It was fairly like convincing win. So, but as predicted, 76ers went down to the Heat for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think anybody expected it any different. Like I said, it took a little longer,
Yeah,
but it was what it was.
And Victor
Um,
Oladipo was playing well as well. Victor Oladipo stepped back up. He's looking like the old Victor Oladipo before the injuries,
mhm.
and he had a really good game. Tyler Hero stepped up as well too. He's been playing phenomenal. He didn't have the I won't say he has the best of series, but there were definitely some games that he played really well.
Facts. So you got any shout outs for any players, Rayvon, from that
Um,
series?
no,
Jimmy,
Jimmy been playing way better than he been playing all season. I guess that's just the poor season effect, turning out
he's a
in
player.
playoff.
He's a playoff superstar.
I guess so. And I don't think a lot of people paying it any mind. I guess they're going to pay a lot of money now, given the matchup for the next round. They've advanced. They got a big opponent for the next round. As expected, it is the Eastern Conference Finals after
Yeah.
all.
Hmm.
So uh, there'll be a lot more talk around his performance over the past two series. And I guess too, it's been relatively easy for them in both series, so I guess there hasn't been a lot to shout about. They beat the
Right.
Hawks 4-1, and they beat the Sixers that Embiid was injured in, where people expected them to take over the series, and so happened. So
But
they
those
haven't
are
had
the
a lot of
advantages.
tribulation.
But those are the advantages of being the number one seed. You're supposed to
Yeah,
get the easier route
yeah,
to the finals.
yeah, yeah,
You've earned it.
yeah.
You've earned
Fair
it.
enough. Correct, correct, correct,
Yeah,
correct.
that's fair. Let me talk about the big, on my part, upset because I predicted Bucks, and I was confident in Bucks, and then Chris went and get hurt, and
Hmm.
all set my whole predictions.
Hmm.
But that series was a good series. I
Yeah,
ain't gonna lie. Jason
from
Tatum
start to
versus
finish.
Giannis,
Yeah.
basically, like yo, they were at it, tit for tat, bucket for bucket, Bucks, and like we can dive into this one because
Hmm.
this, I think that this series deserves a good look.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
we can start with Hakeem.
All
Tell
right.
us about how you analyzed and then like made your prediction and how it all played out.
Okay. So for me,
Because you got
starting.
it bang on, right?
Yeah.
You had Celtics in seven, so
So for
tell us
me,
all about that.
when I watched the Celtics play the Brooklyn Nets, and I saw the way they defended against KD and Kyrie, and how good they were on the offense, that's when they convinced me they were going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I said it. For the time I saw them win, I was like, yeah, they're going all the way. They're going all the way because I think they're they have become a lot mentally stronger than they were in the previous year. Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum have stepped up and elevated their game. And watching the way they play the Bucks now, at first the Bucks, the first game, the Bucks won, and I think Celtics were a little, I don't want to say relaxed, but they beat the Brooklyn Nets a little early. They were not in the game mode per se. They lost the first game, but definitely for the second game, they stepped up. They came. The Bucks play. They have more of a defensive presence within the paint, which means they dare the Celtics to hit a lot more threes. Now, I would say the first 3, 4 games, they were already hitting the threes as much. But you see, the last 3 games, the Celtics started knocking threes like left, right, and center. Jason Tatum started hitting, I think he had 7 threes in game 6. I'm not sure if he has 7 again tonight, but he started hitting threes. Jalen Brown hitting threes. Off the bench, I think his name is Pritchard. He was hitting threes
Yeah,
as well. Yeah, like
boy.
off the bench, like everybody was chipping in. And Marcus Smart played outstanding. I think he had one game that cost, I think it was game 5 that cost the Celtics that game and the last 2 plays he had.
Hmm.
But Marcus Smart played well. I found he was a very good facilitator. He surprised me actually how good he was at playing point guard now. And like he played well. He hit his threes. He distributed the ball well. I understand why he's defensive player of the year. He's not gonna be like blocking shots. He's not intimidating person in the paint,
Hmm.
but the way he's able to generate
Yeah.
fouls, right, is incredible. He's willing to take the charge.
Hmm.
The more times Giannis hit this man to the floor and he
Yeah,
gets offensive
exactly.
foul on Giannis, right? I just like
and
Marcus
then
Smart is a warrior.
and then like when Marcus Smart is like 6'3", Giannis is like almost 7 foot,
7 feet, yeah, six
and
ten or
he's
something like
guarding
that.
this man in the post. Giannis
It's,
backing him down, and he barely
yeah,
moving, like that's
it's
some
it's
strength.
it's
Solid.
amazing me to
Yeah,
see it,
yeah.
It's,
And he's
it's a
stripping
re-
the ball out of Giannis' hands and thinking when he posting he out on that. Like who guard
yeah,
that could play defense on such a big player
exactly.
for so many stretches, you know what I'm saying?
And
And do a
he could
good
guard
job.
from 1 to 5. So
Exactly.
Marcus Smart, I was impressed with Marcus Smart this game, but this series I should say, he had the one game where overall was good, but it came into the last 2 plays, and I was like, damn, you cost out this game 5 here.
Yeah.
But you know, it was amazing all around for Celtics. My favorite moment in this series was when Al Horford dunked on Giannis. He let him know what time it is. My second favorite is when Giannis dunked on him just
Mhm,
before that. Alfred was like, okay, that how you want to play it? How you want to play it? All right, me see. And I think that was a game changer there
mhm,
in this series to me.
mhm.
When Al first turned up, I think that was it game 4? I think it was game 2 or game 4 that happened. That was a change right there. Alfred just like he took over that game. Alfred played amazing. When
Yeah,
Alfred came
boy.
out of Celtics, I was like, wait, he was already here,
But
but
but but but the reason is, I
he
think the
stepped
reason for
up.
that is because he has familiarity with the organization, with the players on the team, because that team pretty much stayed the core guys
Right.
pretty much stayed the same for a
Yeah,
good
they
while.
did.
So and he was playing with those guys, so he has chemistry with them already. So I feel like that was a great place for him, great move for
I was
him.
just surprised.
Yeah.
I just
Surprised he
surprised
never
that
really.
he could get that output from him at this age. That was the most
Yeah,
surprising part.
yeah. He
Like I never
The
thought we would see it.
possibility of a ring will bring out Beast Boy.
But I would gotta say this: they gotta be doing something good health wise because we got a lot of older players still performing at their peaks. You got LeBron, you got Chris Paul,
well,
even exceeding their peaks.
LeBron's a
Yeah, yeah,
category stuff, man. Don't do that.
but no, but
Put LeBron over here.
no, but he is still yes, LeBron on a whole. If you take into consideration his whole career, yes, he's in the category by himself, but he's an older player that still, has the 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 strength and the movement. Maybe not all the way there, but good enough to still be
Mhm.
a great player in the league. And
Yeah,
yeah, I ain't trying to put them in the same category, but when you look at it, yes, age wise they're in the same category and still performing at a,
high level.
a high level above what is expected. If you had a
Yeah.
curve for how NBA players' trajectory goes, you can get you can
Are
start
you?
off slow and you can get
Yeah,
a dip when you coming down to the
inverted you.
yeah,
A
exactly.
nice bell curve.
But
Let's say over to
these
you.
guys doing these guys even declining. They're probably just staying pretty constant to what they
Yeah.
are as players all the
We're
way
looking like
through.
a trapezoid right now,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just steady going, steady going.
Exactly. So it'll be interesting to see um, how many more players get to that age and still performing at a relatively decent output going forward.
But
But
remember Vince Carter was one of those guys too who like went for a long time and was still performing at a pretty high level. So
I guess
I
so.
mean,
But I feel like where he was and where he is was drastically different because, like for
mhm,
example, Chris
it
Paul.
was not
Yeah,
explosive
yeah,
or
exactly.
yeah.
Vince Carter was so explosive. He's such a big dunker, etc., etc. And then that
Hmm.
just slowly faded away. I guess he transitioned this game to fit the things that he could no longer do. But I feel like for Al Horford, for example, the things that he is does and is still doing on the court is the things that he's pretty much always done at the best points in his career. And even in some cases, like in that specific game, topping some of his better performances of his younger career. So it's good
Yeah,
to see that there's some longevity in the league with the players. Kind of going against the curve. I would call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
you
my
mhm.
takeaways from the whole series. I just think it was a great series from start to finish. Competitive, great defense, best defensive display that we had for any playoff series so far.
So far, definitely.
Um, in both directions, not only in one direction. Like for the next series they had, it was Celtics was just dominant defensively. Nets couldn't really keep up with them
Yeah,
defensively, truthfully. But we had a great game grinding out some low scoring games. Um, great offensive ball movement and what's not, great team play. It was just beautiful basketball all the way through. Yes, sometimes
Yo,
it gets strippy, you get the fouls. Like in this same game, this last game,
A
there was
lot
a
of
lot of
fouls, a
fouls
lot of
in that
fouls, a
third
lot of fouls,
quarter.
a
There was
lot
a
of
lot
fouls.
of
yeah.
fouls. I don't know what was going on. The so
To the
it
point, I
should
was
be
actually a
happy.
little afraid that
Yeah,
some of the guys were gonna fall out.
yeah, me too, me
I
too.
was like, I was like, NBA can't have Giannis and Tatum falling out in the fourth quarter of Game Seven. That
Exactly,
cannot happen.
exactly. And the referees gotta have a
You gotta take
understanding
it
of
to
that.
eight.
Yeah, exactly. No, the referee take it the the referees have to have an understanding of that too because it was looking kind of suspect there in that third
Mhm,
quarter moments. But glad to see that it smoothed out. The game smoothed out, and
mhm.
truthfully, coming on in the end of that game 7, just talking about the game 7 on the whole, no, the Bucks just looked defeated coming on to the end there. When
Tired,
yeah,
man.
tired and
Yeah,
defeated,
Yeah,
truthfully,
but
because
yeah.
they were just giving up a bunch of opening trees. They were up like the Celtics were up like maybe like close to
22
20
points.
points.
That's
Yeah,
all. Yeah.
exactly. And I guess at that point it was just like we don't. I guess they ain't got enough fight left in them, and they was
Hmm.
just hitting trees all over the
The
court.
guys were hitting threes.
Yeah,
Don't forget they dare. Don't forget the Bucks
yeah. There are
defense is like
people.
to kind
Yeah,
of dare you to hit threes, right?
exactly.
So I mean, I don't know what something changed from Game Five. See, from Game Six, Tatum and Jalen Brown were hitting
Hmm.
threes. Like Tatum actually looked very, very, very smooth,
Hmm.
just hitting threes. Like at a point, I think he
They
was five
probably
for five.
spot that though.
In Game
They
Seven, there was
probably
a point he
spot
was
that,
like
and
five for
Bucks was like
five.
that, and then decided that you
Yeah,
know
it
what,
was definitely. I
yeah,
definitely saw that
we can
trend. That
work on
change
we
from
trees and
definitely.
we can capitalize.
Yeah.
Because in Game Five, they didn't take as many threes. But see, when I watched Game Six, I was like, "Oh, this is totally different here." They're just hitting threes from the goal.
Hmm.
They hardly they were still in the paint, obviously doing the mid range,
Yeah.
but they were. It was clear that they were hitting a lot more threes.
The
So
Celtics.
yeah,
The
definitely
Celtics
they
had
were.
22 trees in that game. 22.
Yeah, a
22
lot of
to 4.
threes.
There's no way you could have win that game with a three
Exactly.
point disparity of 22 to 4.
And I
That's
I'm pretty
insane.
sure the 3 point percentage completion had to be at least in the 40s,
Yeah,
high 30s or
40%. Literally
40s.
40%.
Yeah, because the way Jason Tatum was hitting those threes, Marcus Smart, like everybody was getting a three.
Yeah, everybody was
So
just a 3 point barrage, and the Bucks couldn't buy a shot from long distance at all. It was
We
kind
got a
of
comment that
devastating.
I want to look at real quick.
Sure.
Hugh McNeil giving some coach slash manager.
oh, you
Um,
gotta be salty on the Bucks loss.
yeah. So that's what he said. Giannis was bad in the second half. Moves have to be made in regards to the roster, and you need a solid bench player. Brook has to go. Allen has to go, and Connor on can
Connaughton.
be packaged. Yeah,
Mhm.
can can be packaged and traded. So he's sending home about three
Gee.
people there.
I gotta go. How I want to hear how about Drew Holiday? Because Drew Holiday, yeah, he's a good player,
Nah,
but he didn't show up. He
nah,
didn't show up in the series.
nah,
He didn't show up in any of these
nah.
series.
Can't
You
put it
want to
on
trade
Drew
Drew?
Holiday. Nah, bro. Nah. Bro, Drew too valuable on both sides of the floor. As a playmaker, maybe not as much as a scorer, but as a defender for sure. For sure. That's somebody that everybody wants on their team. He's like the Marcus Smart of the Bucks team, truthfully. And to me, with better offensive upside in terms of scoring on a consistent basis.
But
So,
not that as good defensive.
what do you mean? Drew is one of
Team
the
Marcus.
best defenders in the league, but
Yeah,
because he
but
made
he's not
the
as good as
defensive play,
Marcus Smart though.
dog. So many interviews by NBA players. Many people ask who is the best defender in the league. Drew Holiday is one of the first names that's always come up. He never
How many,
get
how many,
defensive player
how many
award.
vote? How many votes he get? How many votes he get for defensive player of the year?
Boss, it don't matter. If you got the respect of the players, if you got the respect of the players, truthfully, sometimes it don't matter what the awards say.
Okay.
If these guys is play against each other every single how much ever days or how much ever times you
Hmm.
play in the game against a person, you telling me that this is the person regardless of whatever the votes is, because that include media votes and all sorts of things, it coming from the player's mouth. And if these men, multiple of these men saying it, then it can't be a fable. It cannot be a fable. Not disrespecting Marcus Smart, but I feel
I
like
get it, I get
Joe
it.
Holiday on that level too. So don't
It's just that Marcus Smart turned up.
But we
That's
gotta
all.
agree he was awful in this series.
he could have
He
been
wasn't.
better. Yeah,
Yeah.
He was
should
not
have been
good.
better.
He was not good at all. So
And
I think he was a
you
bit.
can't say that he wasn't good at all. He was great defensively. You can't say that. That game, that was the same game 5 that they lost. he was so clutch. He was the reason why they won again. He wasn't performing great in the first one, but
I
he
think
came
it
in
was
when it
more to me.
mattered
To me,
most.
to me, it was more of Marcus Smart making those mistakes. It cannot more Marcus Smart making those
But
mistakes.
he had to be have the presence of mind to be in the position to capitalize on the mistakes. So you gotta remember that too. Because if he wasn't there to block Marcus Smart's drives, Marcus Smart probably would have just got a layup easy. But he came over and he was able to block the shot straight off of Marcus Smart. And he was able to get the steal on Marcus Smart. So you gotta give him some props for that. Truthfully, you gotta give him some sort of
Better
credit.
props, better props, better props. But yeah, but
So
back to the comment. Yeah, definitely they got to make some roster changes. I don't think there's no way they're going to keep the same roster after losing at seven. It hurt even when even when you win a ring, you
but
don't keep
look,
the same roster.
honestly, I don't think that the roster was the issue. I think that Chris Middleton
Not being
injury
there.
played a big part in the fact that Bucks was like we all agree was exhausted at the end of 7 games.
Mhm.
Chris is a
That's true.
Chris
They're
is a
missing
gorilla
it.
glue inside that team.
Mhm.
So when you lose a player like that and you put in his weight or trying to spread his weight across the team, you know Giannis can pick up the
Yeah.
majority of Chris's weight as
Yeah,
well.
he did,
Um,
and Giannis did. Truthfully, Giannis did the
Yeah,
best
it's
that he
played
could.
well.
That
yeah,
was an
Yeah,
insane
the
series for him.
best he could. Yeah, so I
I don't
can't
know.
say that a roster change is needed just because look, the man carry the thing all the
You
way
can't
Yeah,
run.
to
You can't
game
run it. You,
seven.
you can't run it back. You can't run it back. Though. Somebody gotta go. Some you
I,
gotta make some changes.
I ain't saying
Few
that.
changes.
Bruh, you
Few
don't have
changes.
to.
Few changes.
All right, tell me, Mr. Manager, sir, what would you change?
Well, I'm not gonna say he changed the whole squad. I think yes, we forgot about Chris Middleton. Well, I forgot about Chris Middleton. I forgot he was on the bench.
Yeah,
Uh, he would have definitely played a major role, especially when
you would definitely take some weight off of Giannis
for
and
sure,
some of the
for
other
sure.
guys.
I agree. But ultimately, I would. Grayson Allen he wasn't hitting anything at all this series. He
Mhm.
was struggling. He's a good young player, so I would actually like to keep him. But if he has trade value, get a better player, more experienced player, definitely trade. Uh, Connaughton, he didn't play the best. I just the guys weren't hitting threes at all
Yeah,
this
it
series.
was just
I yeah, they
it was
weren't
dry
hitting
from
threes. I
three.
mean, Giannis is really because Giannis was just putting his team on his back. Man averaged like 40 points per game for the series.
Yeah,
Uh,
almost.
almost. I think game seven, he didn't have the 40.
Man was like
But
a turtle, boy.
Look, I don't know, boy. Like, for me, as it relates to the changes, I think what they should do is leave, but Lopez on the bench a little bit longer. I think he was weighing them
he
down.
played well, but
He
he played
he
well this
played
game.
okay, I guess. But I should have go a little bit more Bobby Portis and Giannis a little bit earlier, to kind of keep up with the trees. Getting those guys have a better ability to close out to the perimeter than Brook Lopez, and that's where they were getting killed. And then, as I
Mhm.
told you, at the end of the game, they weren't even bothered when they were continuing to make trees. They just kind of gave up because it didn't make any sense at that point. But that was a problem throughout the game too, getting out to the 3 point shooters. And yes, it is a structural flaw in the Bucks defense, but providing some effort could at least sway the result of a shot if you at least attempt and you have the personnel
Yeah,
to get out there and attempt.
you don't want the open
So
shot.
yeah, exactly. Even or just at least put it on, make it contested. But
Mhm.
it is what it is. The result is what it is. It's sad, but
When the sun
I
is
don't think it
gone,
necessarily need to be
even the
I
consistent
mean,
shots
drastic
is
changes.
be
they got the ring last year. I mean,
Mm.
it's time for a change. Time for a batch. They got the ring already.
All right, so to segue into that, who would you give MVP to for the
That's
series?
I,
You don't
I,
give
I
MVP to losing players, but
yeah,
Giannis
I
was
want to say yeah, but nah,
yeah
I ain't say Tatum. I ain't put on Tatum.
yeah
I
it
want
gotta be Tatum.
but yeah, it got a good Tatum just because he was instrumental in the win and his
Mhm,
team did
mhm.
win the series.
Yeah.
But Giannis was amazing. Like he was, I mean, Giannis was just a tick above Tatum.
Mhm.
But Tatum, no, to take away no credit from Tatum. Tatum played really well.
You want to give
Yeah,
it to Marcus Smart?
MVP of Game
no,
Seven
come
though.
on. Come,
Nah.
come on, nah, not Marcus Smart,
MVP
bro.
again, 7 though was
Just
Grant
pulling your leg,
Williams.
buddy.
We gotta say that. We gotta give Grant Williams a shout out for essentially having the performance of a lifetime or of a
Rodman,
career.
man.
Um,
Rodman 2.0.
uh, I don't think we'll ever see again where Dennis Rodman gave me 27 points and 7 threes. No man.
Maybe,
But
maybe Detroit days, but not in threes.
no,
But
no.
but we get
Anyway,
some points. Uh-huh.
Grant Williams was the key to this game. I don't care what nobody say. It wasn't gonna be this easy if Grant Williams wasn't hitting from three like that. Like every time it get a little bit still, he get open for three. Like, it's truthfully the Bucks weren't really paying him much money. I do not know why, but
Mhm.
he was lighting it up for a three for the whole series. Just keeping him
Don't forget,
open. Just keeping it, he just get a bunch of open shots, and even on the some that were not so open, he already got the rhythm and the
because
form, and he
you
still hit them.
you
So
could live your with the quote unquote role players. You know, you don't want to give your star players the chance to get the buckets. If they make them pass up the ball, if the role players hit, you can live with that. So no one really expected Grant Williams to get 27 points this game. I think credit. I think was also we've not really looked at Tatum has become a better passer from last year.
yeah, I agree.
Tatum is a much better passer, and before to me he had more of a Kobe mentality. No, he's I want to transition to a LeBron mentality, but we're not getting to that. But he's still is shooting a high clip, but he's more of a personal. I guess you could say somewhat KD oriented. So I think that has allowed the team to benefit from his unselfishness now.
I
But
agree.
Tatum for the MVP for sure this series. As
Easy,
them,
I agree too.
That's fair. That's
as them.
fair. Giannis MVP for me.
He be running up. Really?
Cause he had to go above and
Beyond, I
beyond
agree.
to like
But
I know
still think,
it's not
yeah,
you know
traditional, yeah.
traditional to do
He would
that
have to be averaging 50 points for me to give him the MVP.
and still
Nah,
lose and still lose.
I would give it to him then. If you know, but nah.
But the man still had a historic
Yeah,
series at the end of the day. I
He
can't remember
played
the stat,
he
but
played he played extremely well. He
yeah,
played better than Tatum, but Tatum wasn't like was it far below him. Tatum was just he was
Yeah.
right here. Tatum was right here. You know, so I gotta give it to Tatum for sure.
yeah,
I could agree with that though.
yeah,
In the in traditional sense of choosing MVPs,
yeah,
I could definitely agree with that.
correct.
We give
Jalen Brown was a great
we give
support
him the
as well.
largest runner up for MVP. We give him the largest medal
Yeah.
for MVP. Like, he get the trophy.
Yeah. We didn't really touch a lot on Jalen Brown. Like we just mentioned him, but I think that he was a good support for
Of course.
for
Dep-
for, for
de-
Celtics and
Deputy
especially
Sheriff.
especially working with Tatum on the perimeter in the last couple of games as well. Like he's been really good. So a big shout out to Jalen Brown as well. Any other mentions you guys want to make for this series? Because
Nah,
this
just
series
excited to
was
see
a wrap a
what
little earlier.
will
Just
be what is going to happen in the finals, in the Eastern Conference Finals. We got the Celtics and the Heat. That should be. I think those teams match up really well all across the board.
I think
Um,
Celtics are ready.
I had a dream though. I had a dream.
That what?
I think Celtics are beating them.
We'll be right back with my dream. We can take a quick break and then we can come back. We can talk about Mavs and Suns. That game is coming up in a few minutes, so we can give a quick prediction on that, and then we'll let you guys go watch that game, and we'll talk about our predictions for the Eastern Conference Finals. So see you guys in a minute. We are back, peoples. We are back. We can talk about Mavs and Suns. I just want to shout out though the people in the chat. Thank you so much for collaborating with us and chatting in the chat, keeping the chat flowing. We definitely appreciate that. So good job, guys. Let me talk about Suns and Mavs, peoples. Suns have found themselves in a very sticky situation. They've been crossing the desert and they've stepped into some quicksand and they're trying to get themselves out of it right now. I don't
Some
know
wet
how this is
quicksand.
going to go. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to go for the Suns, but it looking dry at this point.
It's true. Uh,
Um, yeah.
but this is my prediction. I know it was a kind of an outlier prediction, but so I said so happened. And wait till you guys when I made that prediction. If it is a win or go home game, I don't think the Suns want to see Luca in a win or go home game because this man, I just feel like this man can do something spectacular. He got tonight. He got in a couple of minutes, a couple of hours to prove me wrong on that. But I just believe that he can just do something special and upset this team, the team that most of us would think would advance to go to play in the finals. Truthfully speaking,
Hmm.
we could all agree on that in the West. Uh,
Yeah.
so so happening right now. Interested to see how this game is going to go. I feel like the Suns have really gone away from their offensive identity over the past few games. I am really not sure why, but they've been struggling to score.
Chris Paul
Yeah, Chris Paul has been
has not
abysmal.
been himself. He's
Yeah,
not been himself the last four
I
games.
don't know if he had a super late birthday party that lit up his stuff in his history or something like that. Because his birthday was a couple days ago, and
Mhm.
turning 37, big number. But he was sensational before that point, and ever since that point, then he's really struggled.
I'm not
I
sure if
can't really explain why.
to add to that, I'm not sure if there was an incident that involved a Mavs fan and his mother
Well,
and his
true.
wife.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that played a part of it as well too. But
Mental games,
But
it
I
maybe.
could,
don't I don't think that I think that these players have the mental fortitude to put that aside.
he actually put his hands on his wife and his mom.
I
He
I
But
put
you
understand
never
the
know,
the, the,
man.
the total situation. I know the entire scenario, but
Yeah, but
nonetheless,
how they can mess with you, even though you think you're strong mentally or whatever. Like going, sometimes some things could push people buttons and bring them out of character or break down them walls that you think they might have. So you never know.
You never know. I think that might be a factor. I don't think it's the major factor, but I think it could be playing on his mind. But all in all, Chris Paul is definitely out of it, as you said. He's technically their leader. Well, he is their leader, not technically. He is their leader.
yeah, I think the
He's
team
the jerk.
goes as he goes. Truthfully, even
Yeah,
though Devin
Yeah.
Booker is a main cog in the engine of the Suns, I just believe that without Chris Paul, they won't be able to take it all the way if they do so or have the opportunity to do so. So they need Chris Paul to be Chris Paul for them to be as successful as they can be, because
yeah.
otherwise it's going to be a struggle, and it's been a struggle given his recent performing woes.
But to combat what you said, you got Mavs to basically win because it's Game Seven. Luca
Yep,
Magic.
yep, that's right.
I disagree. I think
That's okay.
Luca has been special. Luca has been special all
Man said
series.
was sipping a snow cone.
Luca has been special all series. But if there's one thing we know, for them to actually win it, for Mavs to win this game, we're gonna need someone else to come along with the raid. Luca drops 30 points, calm, like effortlessly. We still need somebody to step up. Can Spencer Dinwiddie step up? Can Brunson step up? Like, can these guys step up in this big stage right now, this spotlight, where the light is the brightest? I don't know if they can. CP3 has been here before. Booker obviously has been here before. You know, Jay Crowder has been here before a number of times actually. So I think, and it's playing in Phoenix. Let's not forget this. They have the home court advantage. I think Chris Paul's gonna find a way. He's gonna be in his bag tonight. He's gonna snap this funk he's been in. Booker's gonna turn up. You know, DeAndre Ayton is gonna play well. I just think this is the
The man
Suns
said
game.
everybody can have a good game.
Yeah, like
I really do.
The
I really
Suns
do. I
gonna
really
win.
do believe so. I'm not saying Luka's not gonna play well. He's probably gonna play. He might even drop 40 points. We're gonna need somebody else to come along for the ride. We're
Well, let
gonna
me
need
ask
some.
you right on this question.
Hmm.
So, is Lucas Magic better at home or better at away
I just think that it
games?
don't
It don't
matter what's
matter.
the moment.
It
It
don't
don't
matter.
matter what's the
It don't
moment.
matter.
That's the thing. It don't matter the moment. Like I just feel like he got that in him. I can't really explain it, but we've seen
He
it
moves so
before.
slow. He moves so slow.
Yeah, and
Like man,
people don't understand. He's a big guy.
Change of
He
pace.
moves so he just got great balance, great rhythm, and he moves at his own
he's a
pace.
very strong. He's a
Yeah,
very
a
strong
very
player
strong
for
person.
too.
Exactly, very strong. Can't really knock him off his game, and I think he's going to be sensational in this game. I'm praying that it's a close game just for the excitement. I don't want it to be like. Truthfully, the game seven, this game seven earlier today wasn't as exciting as you would want it to be, but
I was happy for
and
Celtics win. So
yeah, it's happy for the Celtics win.
yeah.
Me
So
too. But I just saying like it would have been nice. It would have been more exciting for if the Bucks were able to put up more of a fight in the fourth quarter. And I hope this game goes along that way. But yeah, Luca, I do agree with what Hakim is saying about the fact that someone else needs to come to the party, and I believe that these guys will somebody will come to the task. I don't know who it would be. It should
also
it should either be Jalen Brunson or Spencer Dinwiddie, but who knows? It might be Reggie Bullock. He might come out and score 7 trees like Grant Williams did then, because they needed that. The Celtics needed that, and also the Suns need their role players to step up too. The Suns role players haven't been very good for majority of both of these series, from the last
what's
series and this
happening? What's
series.
happening? Campaign.
Yeah,
He's fell out of
yeah.
rotation a lot. What's
Exactly.
happening?
Their bench players haven't been as good as they've been in the regular season, and that has been an issue for them too. Missing a lot of trees. Mikael Bridges, Dre Crowder, their 3 point shooters that normally hitting above average rate are struggling right now in the series. So that's another factor too. So for both teams need all the role players to step up. But the Suns would have the edge at home for the role players to step up. But we'll see. We'll see. I think both teams have good fight and good heart in them to produce a great close game. So I am excited for that. But Mavs in seven for me.
All right. I got Phoenix in 7. So we shall see.
Oh boy. My predictions for the season hasn't been, well, I should say, for these series games haven't been the best. Um,
You know you want girl right on too. It's okay.
well, I already made my prediction
Yeah,
for Sun, so I don't know where that comment come from.
I don't know either because
so,
it is what
so
it is
yeah,
at this point.
but I was just saying that because of the trend that I was having. Like I haven't said any prediction that really came true, but like I said, I had a dream, and we can get to that a little bit
It's
later.
dream.
Yeah, I had a dream.
Song profound.
Say again?
This song's profound.
Nah, ain't that deep. ain't, ain't that deep at all. I I wanted to ask a question about this series game, this seventh game,
Mhm.
but it slipped my mind. I don't know if you guys have any other thing that might stand out in this game that you might want to mention.
Um, I just want to see how the Suns will get their offense back on track. It's been bad for the past 2 games, truthfully.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like, as Hakim was saying, um, Devin Booker probably will come out to kill. I think he can have that killer mentality from the get go.
Mhm.
Uh, my biggest wild card is both teams role players. That's the biggest thing for this game, truthfully. Who is going to step up? And I don't have a clue as to who it could be, truthfully. That would be the decider of this game because I think Luca will be great. They can't really do much with Luca right now. They might actually take that approach by trying to get the ball out of Luca's hands a little bit more early in the game and see how they could make him a
Get
little
their
bit
players
frustrated.
involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but because then you will have to know Luca will have to rely on the other players to be the offensive output. We can see how
Which
that
may
works for them.
which may not be a bad thing if you can get the players involved early
Yeah,
game like this.
exactly. Then he could probably take over
Yeah.
when the team is
Second
actually
half.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what the chess game that's going to be played and how they guard Luca and how the Suns role players come out to play and how the Miles role players come out to play regardless of whatever scheme they try at trying to guard Luca. That would be the decider, and of course Chris Paul has to play better. Simple as that.
House to
Yeah.
house to.
I think that if they take that route, that might be a mistake, like trying to guard one man, because we've seen players come up if their star players is being done.
Yeah.
We've seen players really putting the effort and make things happen. So if they focus on Ruka, that might just be the Suns' downfall. To be honest, they
Who
might
knows?
turn to
They
night for
might
them.
just need to
And
trade because he might be going so good. They ain't gonna trade. They ain't gonna choice but to trade. So
yeah,
this
I,
will be a
well,
really interesting
it
chess
sounds
match.
it sounds like you got Suns throwing in the kitchen sink in
Man,
this
no,
game
no, no, no. I ain't saying that. No, they
in
they
terms of.
definitely got a chance. They definitely got a chance because they feel
Mhm.
as Hakim keeps saying, I feel like Devin Booker can come out to perform, and I feel like Chris Paul will feel the the responsibility of needing to do that because of the past few games that he had. So
I, ho-
those two
I
guys
hope
will come.
Aiton jump shots pull off
That's the
to
next thing.
come
That's a
off.
secret weapon for
Yeah.
them too because the Mavs don't really got anybody to really guard him. They got to give him the ball a little bit more, truthfully. Let him work in
Hmm.
the post a little bit more. They could get some offense from that. So
Definitely.
I think it's more the chess game, what the coach is going to do, that could make a big difference in the result of the game and the role players stepping up to the plate.
So game seven game coming down to the coaches.
Yeah, I think it'd be.
Oh, yeah,
Which
obviously,
coach
yeah, obviously.
strategy is
Yeah,
better?
yeah.
Fair. That's fair. No, we'll be getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. We already know which teams are going to be in as of earlier today. Celtics got in, and Heat was in from the get go. Um, I don't know if Heat got to really prove themselves now because Celtics had some tough games coming
Tough
into this one,
series.
and and they might be informed. They're still healthy. They might be informed, and they might give Heat a good first two games to just to set the level and quality of basketball that they need to play to overcome the Celtics. What are you guys' thoughts about that?
Go first, Hakim.
I think the Heat road or their path to the Eastern Conference Finals has obviously not been as difficult as the Celtics, just for them being a number one seed and having some breaks, in terms of the opposing teams having some injuries. Now that being said, they're still a very deep team, like a very deep team, which is actually amazing. Obviously, I got the Celtics to win. I think it's gonna be a close series, a gritty series. He they're not a team to give up by any stretch of the imagination. They have good bench players, good role players, and they're pretty good from the three. Vata Hero and Duncan Robinson as well, especially. Celtics a win. I just think I just not really really and truly. I just think Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum have just grown up before our eyes. And this team overall, I think they believe they could win. I think within their hearts, every team don't say, "Hey, we could win," but I think Celtics really and truly believe they deserve to be here and they're going to win. They didn't get any breaks whatsoever. They went the hard route, the more difficult route. They beat the Nets, who was favored to beat them from the seventh seed.
Yeah.
They beat the Bucks, who was also favored to win, the defending champions. So I think they've shown that they're a great offensive team and they're equally or even better on the
Better
defensive
offensive team.
end.
Yeah, defensive team.
So
Sorry.
so to me is like I think I have them to. I think they're ready. I just like for the NBA Finals. Like, whoever
Yeah.
gets through the NBA Finals, right? It's gonna be a series. No,
Yeah.
actually, I could choose. I could talk about it later, but Celtics would win the whole way. It might go to 7 games. I'd be surprised if it doesn't go to 7 games. But Celtics for sure. And
Could they
Jimmy
be
will be stopped.
fatigued? Could they be fatigued, Rayvon? What do you think?
I think the Celtics may have the more fatigue, even though they were the only team to
For
sweep a team in the first round. I feel like
Hmm.
those, even though despite it was a sweep, every single of those games went down to the wire, every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I feel like they was taxing even though it was only 4 games.
mentally.
I know, yeah, I know the Bucks. They went all the way 7, a lot of close games except that final one that then pretty much blow out the Bucks.
There are two
Yeah.
games are. I think game three. I think game three was game three close.
But I mean, relatively close. Maybe it. I think it was a game 3. There was a game where they put out these starters pretty much earlier. They were down like 13 or something
I
like
think the
that.
Bucks. I think the
It might
Bucks
have been game 6.
beat the Brits off of them in the game three.
I can't really remember, but nonetheless,
Hmm.
yes, I feel like fatigue would play a little bit of a factor on the Celtics side, but man, these guys, most of these guys young. Horford got the phone in the youth, so he probably can be okay. and and it's going to be good all the way around. Like, there's no other way to put it. Me personally, I got the Celtics to win. I a little bit skeptical about how many games because I feel like we might be surprised that the Celtics might actually beat them in less games than we think. I might say
Really, really?
I might say Celtics in six. I might
Oh,
say
six is
Celtics
fair.
in
I mean,
six.
six,
But
seven, but I took him to say five.
I could see it going to a 7 game series. The pedigree of both the offense and the defense the Celtics. I don't think the Heat can match that. The Heat's offense can get very still and very stagnant, very slow, and could go into big funks during games. And yes, the same thing could happen with the Celtics, but I feel like they got two players that can get them out of that hole at any point in the time. On the Heat side, when the offense goes still, there's not much. The F Tyler Hero can pull them out. Not even
I,
Jimmy sometimes.
I don't. I would have agreed to that, but Victor has been stepping up. Victor is no showing. He still has what it takes.
Mhm.
What he was said as an all star, I should say. He's still an all star caliber player was, and he's no reaching his form again. So I think he could be a deciding factor in this team and for the Heat team that we've been on the plane.
Mhm.
He's no stepping up. He obviously was injured for a couple years. He was on the bench for a while. He didn't play many games this season,
Right.
but he's definitely coming to form now. And this is where you want a star player, so we know getting back to his potential.
Fair
So
enough.
like, he coming off the bench deadly. To be honest, Victor coming off the bench is nothing to be played with.
Yeah, just a quick update on the game. The game has started. Yes, we run over a little bit. The
Yeah.
the Mavericks are up 15-5 in the first quarter with 5 minutes left. Just point out there, 15-5.
Jeez.
Luka got 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 1 assist. Just point out there.
3 more quarters to go, but we
Yeah,
see.
we go 3 more quarters. Go. I agree. 3 more quarters.
3 more quarters to go.
But
But up 10 points though?
but
Cody.
the Suns only scored 5 points in the first
Yeah,
7 minutes. Come on, man, 5 points. Anyway, but
that diesel engine that you was talking about, boy, like it reached its lifetime right now, boy. I don't know.
we can
Well,
see.
we'll see.
What looking
Only
good? Looking
time
good
will
for me.
tell.
Looking good for me.
Like, yo, peoples, you got to give Ray Bonnie props. The man's been on it with these predictions.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I had a dream though about Heat and Celtics
Mhm.
Eastern Conference Finals.
Mhm.
I didn't have like a full on dream about
Yeah.
it. I just had like one of them snippet type visions, right?
Mhm.
While I was sleeping. And the announcer said,
You saw the banner going up for the Celtics,
nah,
the conference champions,
nah. I heard the announcer and I saw a face.
right?
Oh,
So this is what it was.
these
It
predictions getting
was
superstitious.
yeah. So the announcer was like, and the winners of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Miami Heat,
Mm.
and the camera was on Jimmy Butler.
Mhm.
So with that,
Mhm.
This is junior half. This is junior half from 2020.
no
You
big
bring
man,
forward.
no big man. This was last week. This
Oh,
was
let's
last
check
week.
in. Let's check in. Want to see if you roll
Yo,
forward, you know.
and the funny thing is, the team that they were playing was in green, and I didn't want to say anything about the Celtics beating the Bucks, but the team was in green that they were playing. I just saw jerseys. People vets, backs turn, hands in their hips, whatever, then walking off the court. And I saw Butler face. So in some sense, I knew that Celtics was going to beat Bucks based on this dream.
Mhm.
But if the dream get 50% right so far,
Mhm.
I ain't want to go against it. I mean,
You gotta
if the
follow your
jerseys
dreams. That's
was
what people
white,
always say, right? Follow your
Yeah,
dreams. So-
exactly.
It's
If the jerseys was white,
dreams on roll
then
forward to me, man. It's on like Bucks. I know Bucks wear green, so it's on like when he played Bucks.
nah, this green had double chlorophyll. This was Celtics green. This was Celtics green. I telling you. So with that said, I can go with Heat. Heat's in 7.
All
I
right.
think Heat's gonna pull it off, and Jimmy Butler will be MVP of that series.
All right.
That's
Let
my
me see.
prediction.
I
That's my
think you
prediction.
see, Jimmy Butler got going work the coffee, get them
Well-
beans. Cause he go home early.
It's true.
Well, we will see. But I telling you, my dream was 50% right so far, I think. So hey, it'd be weird if it was some discombobulated dream where it was some futuristic
All
thing.
right, if
I ain't know if the dream's supposed to be for this year or next, but I can just put it for this one since
if it come through,
half of it
we
happened.
call you Prophet the hands.
Alright.
That easy. That easy.
Already.
So, I don't know if you guys have any other mentions you want to make as regards to the series. We know the game already start. We didn't get to talk about F1 last week either, but just know Matt's in form. He ain't lose a race that he finished.
Yeah,
So
it's
for
true.
all you people that was betting on Ferrari and Charles Leclerc, watch the facts. Max is the man. He ain't lose yet. The car defeat Max in 2 races.
Yeah.
So moving on to Barcelona this weekend. So tune in for that race. I don't want to talk too much about that in terms of F1 because kind of missed it, So
Yeah.
we can be on it next week. Anything from you, Hakim? Anything from you, Rayvon, that you want to say
We
before we
good.
dip?
Just letting people go and enjoy the next match coming out. We can try to put
Yeah,
our predictions officially after this game so that we can have our
Yeah, yeah.
predictions for the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference finals. So just stay
Mhm.
tuned. Follow the Instagram page if
I
you
can tell
haven't
you, man.
done
I can tell you,
already.
man. No.
Follow the Instagram page if you haven't already. Look out for our posts with our predictions. Don't forget to comment on the page. Comment your predictions for the series when we do permit the posts. And interact as much as you can. So,
Yeah, we definitely appreciate the
mhm.
interactions.
For sure.
Definitely. Autumn say Hans the Prophet. You don't know. Look out for it. Look out for it. Um, I think that's it, people. Thank you
Yes.
guys so much for joining us this week. Enjoy the game. Rayvon, he's a man to follow.
Yeah.
But hey, Hakim betting on the Suns.
The
So
crown coming off, man. Don't worry.
hey,
I
hey,
tell you, I can go and buy a case meal
We
from
look,
Burger King. So
we look at
whoever
crown.
I
whoever
would
get
like
it,
Hakim to make his Western Conference Finals prediction. No, because if he
Go.
choose Suns,
I got Golden State. I got Golden State to win, regardless.
okay
oh
then.
yeah,
Regardless